And welcome to the first ABT live show of 2025 with Tim and Dicko at the moment. Are you guys still writing 2024 and everything?
Yeah, bloody oath.
Yeah, I did a post the other day saying this is my first fish of 2024. And it was 2025. Thank you for whoever corrected that, and I'm sure I'll make that mistake a lot more times in the first couple of months of this year. This is ABT Live episode number 53. Of course, we started in COVID times when we just said we better learn how to live stream, and look what trouble it's got into us now. We have literally the industry heavyweights here tonight. We've got a lot of people that we're going to be talking to very live. I reckon these shows are better when we get people live in studio and it's all pretty raw. Like, we often will pre-record some segments, and we've done that tonight with Tommy Wood and Tommy Slater, the two Tommies. But we've got Timmy in tonight to talk about the Rapala Bass Pro Series. Dicko, you're going to be talking about the Zarek BARRA tour that's coming. Yep. Behind the peanut gallery behind the camera here, there's Dan Stead's going to talk about the Gippsland Lakes round, the duo-sponsored round of the BREAM Series. Boothie's actually here just for the free food, I think. He's not actually been on camera. But we have the legend John Costello going to join us later on as well, because he's joined the ABT family as a BARRA tour sponsor. So, and he's actually fishing the event at Mondi. So we're going to pump John for a lot of the pre-tournament info. And it's good to see all of the guys getting together. Before I go through some of this stuff here, everyone's going to want to know what the competition mechanic is tonight. And stupidly, I left it to the peanut gallery to find out how you win the prize. I'll tell you about it soon, but this is the prize I put together tonight. Usually a lot of leftover ABT prizes. I got some cool stuff in here. So I've got a fair bit of Rapala stuff. There's some, that's a Skitter Pop Elite.
Yep.
That one there. There's some Rapala hard bodies, another Skitter Pop Elite. Some Fat Jacks.
Yep.
Some Jack Deep. So we've got there. Look at that, Zarek. We've got some of the killer barra lures, those live mullets. They're probably in high demand at the moment.
They are. Can't get enough of them.
And we've got the Barra Team of the Year's favourite lure there, the fish trap. So we've got some of those. We've got a whole heap of Daiwa bait junkie plastics there, and some sneaky scissors. So there's 5 packs of plastics there. In the line department, some atomic lines and some 131 braid. That's 13 strands, isn't it? Why 13?
That's the good stuff.
That's the good gear.
Lucky for some.
All right, some more crushed shitty plastics we got there, some of the creepers. So we got those there. What else have we got? A couple of the more Rapala baits. The old flat shad, you love it, don't you? Some jabberjaws. They're the ones that the bibs knock on those things. And just some atomic, like there's a whole lot of stuff. There's got to be $300 or $400 worth of stuff there.
Easy.
So I left the peanut gallery to work out the competition mechanic. And Timmy, tell us what you worked out.
Well, after much debate, it took us about 5 seconds to decide on it. But basically, I think Nicole will put a photo up and you've got to guess the weight of the heavyweights here today. That
are on screen. So they put the photo up there, Nicole, and you will see, just to make it easier for you, we've got them all in one picture here. There are 5 people. There's going to be Dan, there's going to be John, Dicko, me, and Timmy. So it's going to be in kilograms. There they are there. That is a solid lineup we have there, both literally and metaphorically. And and it's got to be to the nearest kilo. Whoever can guess the closest, put the comments down below, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube. We'll look at both of them. Whoever can get the closest, I've got it here. I've got it written on the sheet. Whoever can get the closest, I will put this magic pack of gear in the mail to you tomorrow. So there you go. That's what happens when you let the industry heavyweights help write the script. What's been happening at ABT? Firstly, all the entries are live for the events. Since the last time we talked to you, the entry forms were out then, but we've got them now at that close of entries date. Kim randomised them all, and we have like 50 boats already for the first couple of BREAM events in the Daiwa BREAM Series down in Victoria. And if you want to see if your entries are in and where you ended up on the start list for the moment, go to abt.org.au, click on the event, and then go to the entry list, and you'll see them. From now on, the entries will go on the list, and the start order will just go underneath. So first in, first served. Now, plenty of on-boater spots available in many of the events, especially in the bass side. If you're sitting on the fence saying, when is the first time I should do a bass tournament? My answer to you is this year, plenty of spots and a great looking schedule. Also, we've got all of the product arriving in the office for prizes. Nicole's madly packing away. I literally went to a plastic supply the other day out of Browns Plains and ordered a 25 kilo roll of plastic. This is this big. That's what all the prize packs come packed in. We literally go through 25 kilos every 4 or 5 years of wrapping plastic just to wrap the prizes in. So, you know, literally 6 figures worth of prizes we're giving away throughout the BREAM, Bass and BARRA stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the swag that you get at some of the events tonight. And we've got a great sponsor lineup this year for ABT. Nicole's producing the show over there. Record year for us in modern history. Since Nicole's been doing it, she's done the best she's ever done. So the sponsors are well and truly on board, helping us run tournaments so that you can enjoy your tournament fishing. And I'll just welcome a few of the new ones on board. Johnny's here tonight from My Lure Box. Good to see a young and up-and-coming lure maker kicking into the sport that loves the motto of who shares wins. So we're going to talk to Johnny a bit later on. We have Hurricane Lures, and I know that's a bait that a lot of our anglers already use. And Peter Nord from Hurricane's come on board this year and helped ABT out with some prize packs and some money to run it. So good on you, Pete. Thank you very much. An interesting product, and I've just picked up my boat today from Yacht Armour. These guys do a protective film for boats. A couple of great guys from on the Gold Coast, Joe and Bryce down there. They have got my 3-year-old workhorse looking like a magic chariot at the moment. I could eat your dinner off it at the moment.
I had a look at it when I walked in. It looked really good.
It's pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice to touch.
So we've got some stories. I recorded some stories today that'll come in a future ABT show. Just explaining the product, and I guarantee you'll see those guys at events, probably with the CC in the hand, and they can talk to you about the product. They did a fantastic job on my boat. Rise Above Plumbing, which is Mark Crompton's company, he's come on board as a sponsor this year. He's buying everyone dinner at the BREAM Grand Final. So I really hope that Cromo makes it to the BREAM Grand Final this year. Otherwise, you're buying dinner, you're not even there, Cromo. So thank you very much. That's Rise Above Plumbing. And our friends from Navico are back. There's a few sneaky ex-ABT and current ABT anglers working there. I went down the other day, and they're in the Mercury building at Coomera at the moment. And Joey Allen's one of their key account representatives. Old Joey, Joey, he's been a bream and bass angler for ABT before and still supports the series. Harry Hardman from the Bass Electric series. He's working for them now, started, I think, just last week. And we all know Joel McKenzie. He's taken a job in customer service there as well. So it's like a big ABT reunion every time they go to work in Coomera. So great to see Navico, and in particular their brand Lowrance, back as a sponsor of ABT. Timmy, it's been we were talking before the show, and it's sort of like the fishing industry is sort of going along all right at the moment. The cost of living crisis affects sort of everything except fishing tournaments and tackle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It's actually been a pretty good start to the year. I think all the retailers had a really good Christmas, New Year period. I think it was helped in certain areas. We had a bit of good weather, but the reorders are coming thick and fast. So I think it's starting off to be a great year.
And Dicko, you were the same opinion, weren't you? It's you can't get the stuff out of the factory quick enough. Must be because Boothie's doing such a good job in marketing, I reckon.
Yeah, something like that. No, it's been a good start to the year. Really good start. I reckon the last 3 months of our last year were the busiest I've ever seen our place. So
fantastic.
We're growing too fast, I think, at the moment. So we need to slow down a little.
You just need to go vertical, mate. That couple of story building just needs to go up, doesn't it?
No, we've just taken a few steps to get a bit more room. So
awesome. So when I'm down at when I visit our friends down at Mercury, down in Victoria, they call the marketing department the colouring in department. Is that what you call it at Wilson's?
No.
Boothie's good with crayons, I think.
A special crayon to see. It's the same sort of thing. It's a different name on the same department. Poor old marketers, they cop such a hiding. And if everything's going well, it's just because the salesmen are good salesmen. But if you're not selling, it's because marketing shit, isn't it? That's how it works. That's how it works in this industry. So welcome everyone to the first ABT live show of the year. We are going to go and we'll probably drop to an ad and we'll visit our friend Tommy Slater from Daiwa Australia, who's got some special news for you. We're going to be back to you with some more, maybe a different set of live people in these chairs right here.
I'll be your beast of burden, an ally in enemy territory, a friend in unfriendly situations. Less than ideal? That's my idea of a good time. Overgrown, nasty, unforgiving, stumps, roots, rocks, angry winds, and mean currents. Throw me in and watch me swim. Mother Nature may be tough. I'm tougher. Lean in, roll up your sleeves, push through to the spots where you can really prove your mettle. Because discomfort isn't a deal breaker. It's just a hurdle between you and hooking in. I'm the kind of motor that'll take you places where chaos is the cost of entry, where the fish are worth the fight, where grit and guts beat glitz and glamour. If you ask me, the bigger the question marks, the better the quest.
Well, here he is. He started off as a little ABT competitor, winning BREAM boats in BREAM Teams tournament, and he's now you're nearly the boss of Daiwa now, aren't you, Tommy? Tommy Slater?
No, not quite, but yes, it's been a long journey. I think I fished my first ABT when I just turned 18, I think, and went down to the Tweed River with Tristo and Grayson, and yeah, I've been doing them for 15 years now, probably.
Now you're working for the flagship brand in the BREAM tackle market, and established in Sydney, and you're breeding a new generation of angler. Tell us about it.
Yes, yeah, just welcomed my baby daughter, Sylvie. So me and Georgia had our first child a month and a half ago. So yeah, very exciting time at the moment. I'm off work, so enjoying dad life at home, and yeah, it's been really good.
Well, thank you very much for making the time and your time off to talk ABT, but I know it holds a place pretty close to your heart. It's the Daiwa BREAM Series again for 2025. I think Nicole puts the calendar together now. She has picked a really good mix of popular locations that are going to drag big fields at the right time of year. And I'm really enjoying stepping back from the scheduling side of things, because I don't want my angler side of me influencing what's best for the industry. So let's have a bit of a look at where we're going. Starting off at Gippsland Lakes, of course, in a couple of weeks. That's one of your favourite fisheries.
Yep.
You did all right there last year, second place.
Yeah. I've had quite a few. I started terribly, triple donut, first time.
Me too. Same time as you, triple donut.
Yep, triple donutted. That was brilliant. I was watching Steve Parker whack the absolute crap out of him.
Yep.
And then probably the last couple of times, I think I've had 3 top 5s or something. The last 3 times we've been there. So I've kind of figured out the way I like to approach Gippsland. That's what's good about Gippsland, is it's got something for everyone. If you like fishing how you like to fish, and meetung and fishing the jetties and stuff, you can do that, or you can go to Hollands and fish snags, or you can fish flats. It's got a bit of everything.
I agree with that, and it's undoubted now that Gippsland Lakes is the big BREAM factory in Australia.
Yeah.
Like that, we do a promotion there where if you're a non-boater, you get a couple of spools of line for getting a kilo BREAM, and we're going to have to take a box of it this big.
I think you're going to have to up that to maybe 1.2 or something.
We're going to have to do something. We'll just take more of them. From there, we go to Malakuta, crowd favourite, of course, on the New South Wales Victorian border. And it changes every year, like literally every year we fish at Malakuta, it gets one from a different spot. Last year it was down at the mouth. Previously it's been up the river, top lake, bottom lake, flat, steep. It's always a bit of a lucky dip as to what is going to be the right technique for there. But the cool thing I notice is that now Daiwa's got a lure for every single technique you can need in there, basically. So
yeah, it's a cool fishery, Malakuta. Like it seems to be very dominated by the conditions at the time. So what the water quality is like. Have they had floods recently? Is the weed established in the bottom lake like it used to be? There's some years where there was no weed, and then there was lots of weed, and it's always a really interesting place to fish. So I reckon it's one of the best venues we've got.
So Tommy Slater, Clarence River, as I remember, that's the place you won your very first ABT event as a boater, and this might be the first time we've been back for a qualifier since.
Yeah, I think it is. It was a long time ago now. It's probably 2019 or 18 or something way back then. We've had a grand final back in the Clarence between, but yeah, definitely one of my favourite tournament venues as far as fishable arena size goes, especially at that time of year. It'll still be quite warm, so there'll be bream all the way up to Grafton probably and past that. And then you've got all the old haunts of Middle Wall and North and South Wall and Browns Rocks and all the good spots. So yeah, I'll be spewing that I probably won't get there with being a new father, but definitely very excited to see Clarence back on the calendar.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be watching from afar, lamenting all the poor choices we're making on the water. Of course, the Hawkesbury, that's the other place you've won a qualifier, and the Hawkesbury never disappoints. Run out of Bayview there again at the end of Pittwater. Again, a massive river system, and you won it last year way up the top of the river, but it's been one all over that joint as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's Bayview's world's most expensive boat ramp, but lots of great area, and we'll have, I assume, Brisbane waters will be open this year.
Yep, without a Hobie event there, should be, if there's no giant swell. Yep.
Bit different than last year. Obviously, last year Brisbane waters was closed, so a lot of the Brisbane water kind of gurus, Chris Hickson and the like, couldn't go in there. So I'd expect it to be a bit different this year than what it was last year. and we've implemented that upstream boundary because of the bass event that either precedes. I'm not sure if it's before or after, but that'll throw a few spanners in the works for the guys that go like to go way upstream like I do. So it'd be a great event and probably the biggest yellowfin in the country. So.
Of course, we saw that wasn't about a 1.7 something there. I think Adam Vixney caught a couple of years ago. It was as big as some 5-fish bags that we were seeing.
Yeah, that was. I remember that fish. That was massive.
He only caught one, but it was a proper one. So.
And Adam Bertoldo in the Open a few years ago, 6 point something kilo limit.
That's when the Pittwater Flats went insane in the giant swell, and it was look. We all know what it's capable of. We all know what lives in there, and we just need the stars aligned for it to happen in a tournament. Because I think you won last year with about 8 or 9 kilos. The potential's there.
Yeah, I think it was
well over 10.
It might have been just over 9, maybe, or just under 9, somewhere like that.
The potential's there for 10 plus in that joint on yellowfin, and there's not many places in Australia you can do that. When the calendar came out this year, my brother Tim looked at it. He goes, "I'm definitely going to do a Foster Taree double header because I think it dovetails in with the Glenbourne round of the Bass events as well. And they are 3 venues that 20 years ago they were the real crowd favourites. Foster in the old days was the mecca of that rack fishing, but." It's a sort of a spiritual heartland of bream fishing, Taree, because so many good anglers have come out of Taree over the years. The Chris Hicksons, the Russ Babicules, in the old days, the Digit Browns, Dean Hammonds. That part of the world just spawns bream lures one after the other.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's got as far as proximity to good bream arenas. That living around that Taree area, you've got so much choice. So it's not surprising that a lot of really good anglers come out of there. Foster's always a good event. Anyone that loves, the rack fishing style should definitely look at that one. But you can go up the lake as well and catch them on the flats, like we've seen a lot of guys do over the years. And the Manning, again, probably a venue we haven't been to for more than 5 years, I would assume, maybe longer. So that's going to be for when we used to go there a lot of those anglers have kind of retired and stopped fishing now. So we've got the new generation of anglers that have probably never fished the Manning. So it'll be a really interesting, be able to see how those new anglers approach it and if they do anything differently, because a lot's changed since back then.
That's right. And it's sort of on the surface, it's a fairly bland river. There's just a lot of mangrove edges, not a lot of man-made structure in that river, and that bit around Taree, some walls down the mouth. But if you want to fish a sort of an uninterfered with river, that's sort of as close as we're going to get within a lot of places. That mangrove sand fishery is something that I think will test a lot of anglers out. I know it was one of the places I donated last time we were there, and I remember I caught a donut one day and then 3.5 kilos the next day. That's the sort of fishery it can be if you run into them. They're there, and I think it's real challenging as well. But it's going to be great to visit the guys at Manning River Marine there and get back to one of our popular old venues. 2 more events are on the calendar for next year for the Dial Web Bream series. One of them's at the Tweed, and it always amazes me that the Tweed River always pulls a bigger crowd than the Gold Coast. It's a smaller river system. It's been fishing amazingly big for the last 3 or 4 years. But I always wonder, maybe it's the accommodations better, maybe people just like fishing the Tweed more. But to me, the Gold Coast is a much more complex, fish-rich venue, but we get the numbers at the Tweed, so we're at the Tweed again this year.
Yeah, personally, I would always favour going to the Tweed. When I lived in Brisbane and I wanted to socially fish, I often drove straight past the Gold Coast and went to the Tweed. And you're right. Look, again, when we used to go there a lot, it was renowned as fishing pretty small. It was always one down the front, lots of little fish. But these days, anyone that watched the last time you streamed there, I think you'd caught like 20 fish in the first. It felt like the first 10 minutes. So there's thousands of fish in that river, and they go all the way up, past Tumbulgum and places where, I used to like to fish. But you've got the 2 big arms, you can go either way and you can really spread out. So it's a good arena and should be a good one to finish the year on.
Well, historically, you needed 2 to 2.5 kilos a day to win the Tweed. Now you need 3 to 3.5 to be in the top 5. it's crazy how big it's got there, and I don't know if there's been a netting drop off there, but we've definitely seen the fishes improve. Now that might be the last event of the season, but we are in the meantime we got the guys from Wata running the Blackwood River event. I've fished there, I reckon 2 or 3 events now. It's a beautiful venue in a lovely part of the world. It's one of the few places you can go to and you'll be eating a cracker and a bird will come and pick it out of your hand on the way through. The same way that if you throw a plastic near a snag, a bream will race out and grab it. And there's 20 or 30 kilometres of awesome water in that river. And we never have the biggest fields in WA, but I tell you what, it's definitely some awesome fishing over there that some of the East Coasters go and visit, but is mainly dominated by the locals.
Yeah, I think we usually get a handful of guys fly over to do them, and the Blackwood. I mean, it sounds like I've never fished there personally, but from guys I've spoken to, it sounds like if that river was on the east coast here, it'd be one of everyone's favourite places to fish. Just snags everywhere and fish and plenty of opportunity to throw different style of lures. So I think it'll be a good event there.
It'll be Daiwa's favourite for sure because you definitely lose the tackle in that joint. Before we let you go, Tommy, and again, thanks for Daiwa for underwriting the top level of bream fishing in Australia, both with the Daiwa Bream Series and the Australian Open, which is, it's the iconic event now. Give us a little, are there any hints you can give us about cool new stuff which is coming from Daiwa? I know the anglers support Daiwa product a lot, and they buy you baits and rods and reels and line and leader whenever possible. In particular, I think last year was the year of the Daiwa X-Link leader. I think every second person that won a tournament is using that stuff now because it works. It's abrasion resistant. It's easy to tie in. It just seems that the formula's right for it. Give some hints of, is there any more new cool stuff coming this year?
Yeah, there's definitely always got a lot of stuff we're working on. Obviously, with me and the team I've got there, Tucker, Braden, and John. We're always coming up with different stuff. So probably the first thing for ABTers to look out for is we've got a new lure that'll be on the market right around the time of the Australian Open, and that was done by design, I suppose you'd say. And I think it'll be something that really aligns to how you fished there for the last few years. So got a really cool lure. It's something that we've developed in collaboration with a really famous lure designer in Japan. Cool. So it was actually a lure that, well, I'd used some of his lures. I just bought them from a tackle shop 6-7 years ago now, and just fell in love with this particular attribute of his lures. And Tucker actually reached out to him on Instagram and said, "Hey, my boss wants to buy more of your lures. He's run out." And turns out we had a mutual connection, and that kind of sparked a couple of year development of what I think is a real kind of market leader in this space in terms of a new lure. So really excited to see that one out, and you'll have some in your hands for the Open, and the Daiwa guys will have some in their hands for the Open, and fingers crossed they'll get to fish that one, being local. So yep. Fingers crossed we can show everyone what it can do. I know there's been a few samples out there that a couple of tackle stores might have had that you might have seen floating around on YouTube. There's some fish catches going on. So that's very excited about that lure. But there's lots of other stuff coming. Obviously, always working on new rods and reels and line and all that kind of stuff. And that X-Link leader, as you say, that's definitely my go-to leader now, and continually working on that cross-link technology. We're actually continuing to push that development forward. So expect more things on that front in the future as well. So awesome. It'll be another big year for us for sure.
I think so, and I just have a look at the decks of boats to know how much the ABT anglers support your product. I think it's a testament to the fact that you've invested so much in R&D over the years, and it's paying off now. Like at the end of the day, good products stand on their own 2 feet, but when they're mixed with a great supporter of our sport, and it just makes the uptake even quicker. So well done. I think it looks like a great calendar for the year. Congratulations on being a dad. She's going to be a Northern Beaches girl, mate. She'll have an e-scooter and rollerblades in no time, and hope we can see you at the Open and maybe an event later in the year.
Yeah, definitely. I was just saying to Nicole too offline that she's way better at calendars than you are. So.
Oh yeah, no, I've punted all that. Never going to have to do it again. Maybe we have to watch out with her for BARRA. She fishes in the BARRA tour with us, and she's very particular about what she likes doing. So we just got to make sure she doesn't cut too close to the bone there. Got to make sure that she doesn't pick all scope and lakes. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Talking to the guys, and again, thanks for your investment. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Steve.
Well, there you go. Consider the Daiwa BREAM series officially launched. Thanks you very much, Tommy, for taking some time out of your holidays to help introduce the series there and to get us up to date with a few little sneaky secrets about what's coming on. But we're going to talk about all things Wilson in this segment here, and I've got the two Wilson guys here, Dan Stead, who's doing some work with them, especially with the Duo brand, and of course Troy Dixon. Dicko, the man who is the most excited I've ever seen about catching barra on forward-facing sonar, and you've got some of the baits here to show us tonight. So before we start with that, a little bit of a reminder about the ABT net rule, which is coming in this year. You all have had a really long notice period for this. We were talking about it at this time last year. In fact, it was in the tour guide last year. You're allowed to have the maximum mesh size on your nets nowadays, and for bream and bass, that's 15 millimetres when you pull the mesh out, and it's 30 millimetres for a barra net when you pull the mesh out. So, of course, we don't do it just because we like making rules. We do it because it stops the tail splitting on the fish. Seen some pretty shockers over the years for some bream, bass and barra. So when we catch and release fish, we're all about improving that post-release survival. And the better we can let the fish go, the better condition we can let them go, the more they're going to survive and the less impact we're going to have on the important fish stocks. And of course, we all want there to be more fish every time we go fishing. So ABT tries to lead the way in those departments. So remember, if you've got any dramas, shoot us an email, shoot us a message. If you're worried about a sort of net, there's the very way, and just pole it into the boat. So, nothing wrong with you doing that. Or being a Tommy Wood Bassmaster style, lander like that, just go and grab it by the scruff of the neck. Bass are hard to do. It's hard to comfort lift a bass in. They're pretty spiky. So, Dan, let's start off talking about the very first round of the Daiwa BREAM series, which is the duo-sponsored round at Gippsland Lakes, and it's unashamedly and undoubtedly the best big bream fishery in Australia now. It's only been about 5 years since the nets have come out of it. And as I like to do the maths on it, I reckon there's about 125,000 1 kilo fish that are still in there now that would have been taken away by the nets. So it's no wonder the fishing is really good. Now, I wanted you to start off by explaining a little bit of the swag that all the anglers get, and this is boaters and non-boaters, at that first round. Already got nearly 50 entries. We've got a big box over the side there of all the swag, straight from Japan. Dicko didn't even get to see it, just went come straight to ABT, and we've got it there. So we're going to be looking forward to giving away this stuff. So what do they get, and why is it special?
So for the giveaway, for every boater and non-boater at the tournament, they're going to get a Bivy Vibe, which was a little vibration lure that Boothie's holding up in front of the camera here now. A very popular little vibe quite some years ago, or a couple of years ago, but then it was made obsolete. We're trying to push into the bream market with the whole range, so that was definitely one lure that we had to bring back in. So we've had that made in some beautiful colours to suit our fishing. Traditionally, a lot more sort of transparent colours to suit our bream fishing.
Yeah, I noticed that they've come back in a lot more bream friendly colours, I suppose.
Generally in Japan, a lot of their colours are very flashy, silver. Generally, a lot shallower lures, and the colours are sort of made around that sort of style of fishing. So it's been quite a battle to plan and have the colours that match our sort of styles of fishing. And we're finally just starting to see the first of that trickle in.
And are these the baits that DT used when he won the kayak
world
titles in 2019?
Exactly right. In the
secret baits.
In the Ghost Gill colour.
In the Ghost Gill. So that's a very popular bream colour over here, and good to see that they're making a return. They're starting to disappear off shelves. You'd find them in a couple of obscure shops, but now you're going to be able to get them again. So that's good. So everyone gets a Bivy Vibe.
Everyone gets a Bivy Vibe. And everyone gets a Spearhead 50.
Let's go macro team, and you get
medium deep suspending lure, 50 millimetres long. Again, we've got some great colours that we've had made for our species. Again, our style of fishing. So every angler will get the choice of a Bivy Vibe and a Spearhead. So pretty much $50 retail. Walk in the door, and
Bang.
you get $50 given to you for turn up.
That's awesome. Now, also, you've got some of the guys coming across from
Yes.
Duo in Japan to talk to all the expert Aussie bream fishermen to maybe get some ideas and to experience Australian bream fishing. I think that's exciting because when the internationals come across, exciting things happen.
Yeah. Well, they see how committed we are to the product, and that excites them to see our commitment. And it's great to see them come over to see what we're all about. And they'll be here for a few days leading up to the tournament. On the night of the briefing at the hotel,
Yep.
we'll have a display of every small lure that we have in our range to suit bream fishing.
Yep.
In every colour that we have. We'll have our range of split rings that we're doing, Duo branded split rings.
Yep.
We'll have all those on display, which again are designed to replace the very split rings they
Yep.
originally designed the lure to have.
Yep.
And again, it's the same. We'll have all our treble hooks on display. Super value, inspired
Yep.
by your last trip to Japan.
Yes, we did find those. I go, these are the cheapest and best chemical sharpening hooks
Yeah.
we've ever found.
You came back and I seen them myself and I thought, wow, I'd buy that.
Yep.
And that's the way I approach the whole range of Duo product that we do. I approach it as if
That can be very scary.
it's like buying everything but not having to pay for it. It's very exciting.
Well, I think I like the idea that the fact that the factory make replacement hooks for the lure. So a lot of baits you buy, you can't get the exact hooks that are on the lure when they get wrecked. Either they rust or they get broken or you don't maintain them. You want to replace them, you have to use aftermarket stuff, but not for the Duo stuff.
Yeah, especially these days. Sorry, Nico. These days, a lot of these lures are so finely tuned and balanced,
Yeah.
and they swim perfectly out of the box. But to be able to replace all the hardware again with exactly what they're designed to
Yeah.
run with,
That's the
I
way
think
to do it.
it's a fantastic thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's
See,
good.
there you
No,
go.
no, that's a good thing. And it tells you exactly on the box what
Yeah, it
those
does.
hooks fit.
This one's go on the Spearhead Royuki.
And
Number 14's
they are the best value for money trebles.
I think so. Like I think you were showing me these ones before. They look like a great bent minnow replacement hook. You know,
Yeah,
they're a
the
light
little-
gauge.
the little
sight-
Tetraworks,
Yeah,
yeah.
little Tetraworks ones there. So those ones, yeah, with the little yellow sticker on the front, man, have a look at those as bent minnow replacement hooks because it is hard to get. I don't like too heavy a hook on a bent minnow because it pulls it down and it's the buoyancy of a bent minnow, especially if yellowfins that they like eating. So definitely look at light hooks. It's all about getting the fish on your line, not worrying about if they're going to bend it open after they're on the line.
And all of these hooks are actually Japanese manufactured.
Yep.
Not made from Japanese wire, they're actually made in Japan. Same as the split rings, made in Japan, packed in Japan. You wouldn't think these days that anywhere outside of Asia or, could pack these things, but they pack all this
they can
stuff
put
in
things in a
factory.
bag. Good on them.
And all their soft plastics they make
Yep.
in Japan still.
Right, so
The lures are all made in Japan. It's amazing to see how they produce such a high quality product for the price they do.
now you've got some other examples here, of course, and tell us about some of the other. You've said you've got a few here that we're going to disappear that you've revived already.
Yeah,
what
yes,
have
yes.
you got?
the Minnow 80, which
Oh, yeah.
you
The
used
Tassie
in
special?
Tasmania last year.
Yeah, that's the 80mm long, shallow. You can aggressively jerk bait this thing in the Bream Lab. We only sort of everyone got on them last year in the Duo Tasmania Bream Open. Everyone got a pack of 4 or 5 of them, and everyone caught the crap out of them with them and used them for the rest of the Tassie tour. So it's good to see that they're going to be on the shelves there.
Yeah, so they were obsolete again.
They were
We've brought
gone,
that back.
and you got them back. And then this one here, I had a few of these. I used to fish these on the Gold Coast a bit. The little Poco popper
Poco
that have
popper,
got
yep.
the world's sharpest hooks on them. They're going to be back.
Again, the exact same treble hooks as we're selling there.
Yep. And any other surprises that I haven't seen yet?
Just, I think everything else you've seen, the Risontes you fish when you're in Tasmania.
Yeah, that's the one I use
63mm Risonte
On the
suspending.
BFS, yep. So again, that's a real bullet that throws a mile. That thing, and caught some fantastic bream on that this year on the BFS on that stuff. So.
The little 52mm shad that you can detune that
Harry
Schofield.
Schofield's
Yeah, yep.
boat cranker. Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't it funny that nowadays we brag about a lure that can swim sideways? Yeah.
Exactly right.
It's crazy.
So we've brought back a lot of those popular lures in the past that have proven themselves.
Yep.
And then brought in some more to complement that range. So if you look at the whole range that we'll have on display at the hotel on the briefing night.
Yep. The tackle junkies will love it.
Yeah, and we've got the Joe from Japan will be there.
He speaks good English too, Joe.
It's fantastic English. He was in Australia for 8 years before going back to Japan to work. So it's going to be a great night. Plenty of guys to sit around and talk, ask questions, see the range, see what we're all about. And then, on the briefing night, you get 2 lures for turning up and
You get
hopefully
access to the guys that from the factory, basically.
Exactly
you don't
right.
get that opportunity in many other places.
Exactly right.
Well, awesome, Dad. We're looking forward to that. That's only in a few weeks' time we start heading down to start the BREAM series with that duo round. You're going to have to wait a little bit longer, DK, because you, of course, are the BARRA junkie of the Wilson office there. Then Cord professes to be, the most excited BARRA fisherman there, but you actually get out in the water and do it more.
Yeah.
And you were really excited last year, leveraging off Timmy and Jacob Wheeler's success on the forward mode, forward-facing sonar stuff. You just happened to have some baits there where you tried it, and they savaged them. Tell us about it.
Oh, that was awesome. Like I said, when Jacob and Timmy were just dominating that, I had to. You
had to try it.
You had to.
Yep.
And I happened to have I had a couple of packets of these Raid.
Yep, they're called the fish roller, aren't they?
Rollers, yeah. Yep. And I rigged them up one night there on the forward-facing sonar, and they just wanted to kill it.
Yes.
So as soon as you brought it over the head, they were just
savaging it
and launching into the air. And I was using it in deep water and shallow water. It was pretty insane, really.
So leveraging off that now, these are now available in most
have.
tackle stores. They're not the world's cheapest plastic, but they have got all the attributes you need to make that technique work. Explain that.
So, well, if you talk about strolling is what they call it.
Yep.
So this thing is specially designed for doing that. So it's got an air chamber in it. It's
That's the air chamber back here near the
yeah,
back. Yep.
Yeah. And the design of it makes it roll really easy. Like if you're shaking that rod, it rolls from side to side, and it nearly turns right over on itself.
Yep.
So, and that bait on forward-facing sonar has a glow to it.
Lights up.
So if you shake it, it's like it's if you're ever towing a marlin lure,
Yep.
you get that bubble trail. That's what it's like.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Is that? I reckon that's mainly because of that air pocket.
Oh,
because
definitely.
Air shows up on sonar. pretty
Definitely.
good, so.
Yeah, definitely. But I couldn't believe how they wanted to kill it.
Yeah.
And it took me a little bit to get them to work out to get me casting that right. But once I did, holy crap,
It's amazing. Isn't
it was unreal.
Yep, that's cool.
It was pretty some of the coolest fishing I had. And then to tee it off on the way home, I stopped at Mondi and got a 122 on there.
Yep. I know it feels like it's been super glued up. This
Oh
one.
yeah, no. That one, I think that last one I got on was like 122, and it was. I think that was its 14th fish, that lure.
So even though there might be $6 or $7 a bait, there you can get a lot of fish on them.
Yeah, but like I said, had to glue that one back together, and then got the smaller ones as well. We got, I think there's 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, 6.5-inch, and 7.5-inch.
And this is a 7.5. This one.
Yeah, and the boys have been smashing the threadies and things like that on them as well. We put them in the tackle warehouse first up, and Adam committed to them straight away, and they walked out the door.
Yep.
I think the guys that are barra fishing now with live sonar, they're always looking for something new.
Yep.
And I think we would just happen to be the right time, right place. Got on the phone to Cord straight away, and Dan and Cord,
Yep.
and they got him here.
Pounced.
That's
And-
it.
and
You've got
the-
to take advantage of
and
those
the-
opportunities.
And the guys that did it, that pounced on it, they
Did all right.
They did really well. So it was
Tell
very good.
Tell us about the BARRA series this year.
Yep.
We've deleted Tinaroo off it, not because we don't love Tinaroo. It's just sometimes Tinaroo doesn't love us when we go there fishing. Nicole says she doesn't love. Actually, we did make the point over dinner that. Nicole, how many fish did you catch at Tinaroo? She said none. I go, is Tinaroo on the schedule this year? She said no.
I actually
Think
love
of that what you will.
I love Tinaroo, but
So do I.
it's
It's just a long
It's-
way for not much return with a small field.
yeah, that's it. Like it's and with these dams going so well down here,
Yep. We've got to follow the good
Touch
fishing.
wood.
Yep.
so I think we need to capitalise on the closer.
So we've
field.
done that. So we've got the very first round of the Zerrick BARRA series this year at Mondra.
Yep.
Still when the water should be the right temperature,
Yeah.
later in the summer and the start of autumn, it's going to, I think there's going to be a lot, fingers crossed that it doesn't get cycloned on.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a great population of fish in there. And I think the other consequence of not having Tinaroo is that we now have 2 Awonga round. One's the open, and then there's another Awonga round.
Yep.
And I was only talking to the guys in the hatchery the other day. They've stocked another 1 million BARRA this year.
Yeah.
So that's 2 years in a row. Over 1 million BARRA have gone into Lake Awonga. Man, it's going to explode.
It's going well. Like it's going really well. If you talk to a few guys that are fishing it, it's actually fishing really well. but it's not copping the publicity as
Yeah.
what Mondi is. Like, every man and his dog's going to Mondrian.
Yeah, and
So-
for good reason, because they're catching fish.
Oh,
there.
definitely.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why we should see a few more teams enter
Yeah,
the Mondi.
I will think,
All these...
what are we up to, Nicole? 13 or 14 at the moment. Plenty of space there. We limit our teams at 50
Yep.
because the very special reason is I only got 50 measuring boards.
Yep.
And that's about what the northern ramps can handle as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, there's still plenty there. Grab your mate. It's a teams event.
Yep.
It's a measure and release event. You don't need a live well in your boat. You just need a kill switch. You need a PFD. You probably need a spotty to see where you're going. You need a measure and mat, and you need a phone to take a photo for the app.
Yep.
And you two could be like that. Remember the old days? The Taylor brothers would win it in a little like a 14-foot tinny.
Yep.
With a I don't even know if they had an electric for the fit. They would have had an electric.
Yeah.
But Barra fishing 100% doesn't matter what sort of boat you got. Barra don't care. They just how good are you at putting a lure in front of their nose.
Well, the good thing about Mondi, there is so many options in that place.
Yep.
You know, I mean, a lot of people are concentrating on the basin.
Yep.
But there's so much.
They're everywhere.
You can get lost in that place.
Yep.
It's so cool.
You love it, don't you?
Oh.
I can see the little love hearts in your eyes.
Oh,
just
no,
talking
I
about
mean,
it.
I haven't even fished it that much, and I love it.
Oh, that's all. So I think that sort of opens up the Zerich Barra series for the year. We're sort of unsure whether we're going to get the same international attendance as last year. Last year was great. We had Carl and Gussie and Jacob across. This year, just a pre-warning, Barra Tour falls right near Thanksgiving, doesn't it, Nicole? Thanksgiving is a big deal in America apparently, because I've lost Americans before because it was close to Thanksgiving. So if we got some Americans that think the Thanksgiving should be spent catching Barra, we'll see them at the tour, I think.
Yeah.
So,
Let's see if Gussie comes back.
Gussie always says he's
Former
never
would
coming
be.
back. Next minute, Gussie's booked. So there you go, Gussie. If you say, nah, I'm not coming at the moment, just remember, you had the best bite of your whole life, you said it, was on the Barra Tour.
That's right.
Donk.
Yeah.
So, anything more to add, Dicko, about Barra? You got any new exciting products coming
mate,
out?
we got lots in the pipeline. Like this year is going for us in all styles of fishing. In Barra, BREAM, flathead,
Yep.
all that sort of stuff. Bass.
Yep.
We've got lots of stuff in the pipeline. It's going to be a crazy year for us. So AFTA's going to be a big year.
Nice.
So,
You're already saying right now, start lining up for after, because you can see all your gear.
yeah, it's going to be an exciting year. So
And you know what, just if you don't know, if the ABT community doesn't know, Nicole, who's producing this show, is your tournament director. She actually runs the after show as well. How close are you to selling out already in January, Nicole? Got 3 stands left in January, so Nicole will spend the rest of the year trying to manufacture space to find, so you might see your favourite exhibitor in the toilet. Never know. It might be the only available space. I'll put them there. Maybe give them a discount on the space rates if they're in this year. So.
Talking about favourite exhibitors, how's our competition going tonight? Have we had any crazy guesses?
Oh, Nicole, how close are they getting? Are there someone close?
Got one person within 3 kilos.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
There's
there
a
we
hint.
go.
Someone's within
Should
3
we give them a
kilos.
hint?
Nah, let's not give them a hint yet.
No, I
but
got a good hint.
Okay, what's the hint?
I got a good hint.
we're all offended now.
I am more than 70 kilos.
What
If that
half are
helps.
you?
Either half.
That's one
All right.
of my
But if that
legs.
helps out,
I think you need to re-talk about what it is, because we've got a lot of new viewers.
Okay, for the new viewers, I stupidly let the live talent tonight decide what the mechanic was for you to win this great pack here. That box there, full of all of our sponsors' gear, probably about $400 or $500 worth of stuff. To guess the weight, you just on your comments on Facebook and YouTube. Nicole put the picture up. Up she goes. This is our live cast tonight. That's me, Timmy, Dan Stead, Dicko, and Johnny Costello. How much does that Ford pack weigh? In kilos, closest one wins.
I'm below average.
Timmy is very happy saying that he is below average in this thing. And he's only ever been below average in IQ. So now he's got another one under the belt. So guys, thanks very much. That's the mechanic. Put your guesses down in the comments. We're going to drop to an ad, and by the magic of television, we're going to have some new guests sitting here.
Introduce.
And
That tip.
There you go. It's all the talk behind the scenes here at ABT of how close people get. Someone's within 2 kilos now. Is that a hint? I don't know. Are you going to read all the comments on both things and do the maths? And who said maths wasn't going to be important? You probably used to tell that to kids at school. Johnny Costello, welcome to ABT
Great
Live.
to be here. Thanks for having me.
Just before we start, there's a few things I want to talk about, and in the comments, guys are talking about the BREAM boundaries. All of those are up on the event info sheets on the site and on my Google Maps that I draw. So I'm telling you that the downstream boundary for the Bass is the same as the upstream boundary for the BREAM. It's just above Spencer, but it just means that we can run 2 events in the same sort of week on the same venue and not have everyone break pre-fish bans or go over each other's water. So there we go. And the other question about Vic BREAM Grand Final venues is we're not deciding that yet. When we go down there at the end of this month, no, next month, because not February yet, we're going to do a little bit of scouting around. So just let us have a look around, and if you're going to make the grand, no, none of you are in the grand final yet unless your name is Jamie McEwen. So or Dallas Blatchford, that's right. So we will find a very fancy venue for you, and yes, only 30 boats means that we can be a little bit flexible. We don't have to have a 40 or 50 boat grand final. So, Johnny Costello, I think we just talked about the opening of the Zerrick BARRA series. You have come on board as a sponsor of ABT, in particular for the BARRA, mate. I just want to find out the pathway. Like, you're a new lure manufacturer. You've obviously put a lot of time into making the baits, but you're going to sell them suckers now, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's been a journey to get to this point. I've had the BARRA bug for years, ever since we travelled Australia about 4 years ago.
Yep.
When we hit the top end, I got stuck into the BARRA and fell in love with the bite.
Addictive, aren't they? That thunk.
Yeah, like that's caught me pretty bad. So ever since that, I've been developing these lures, and I just want to learn as much as I can about the BARRA scene.
And I think the best way to do it is to go and mix with the guys who are just as addicted as you are.
Well, what happened last year? I don't know if you remember this, but we were driving on a holiday past
We saw you at Mondrian, didn't we?
I pulled in to say good day to a couple of guys. I saw the scenes that was there, like all the guys catching up with each other, talking to each other. It was epic. So as soon as I left there, tear dripping down my face on the way past Mondrian, I was like, I have to enter these events and get in there and learn some stuff about barra fishing. So that's what it's,
Well, when you look at the BARRA Tour itself, and that's the 4 event series at the end of the year, you look who's there. Like we have the Wilsons guys are there, the Rapala guys are there, Josh from Samaki's there, Mick Starkey's there.
Yeah.
Like half of the tackle industry is there, and they use it as a bit of R&R and a bit of R&D, because I think the accountant can get those two mixed up nicely. You know, your R&D can be R&R and vice versa.
I know about it. Yeah.
And you've always, but I don't think you've probably never fished an ABT event before.
Done
some BREAM events or something?
In 2001, I hit an electric series very, very long time ago. A couple of hints dam. Yep, I was in a canoe.
I remember that.
And then a boat made out of fiberglass and roofing.
Yep.
When I was about 18. But since then, I've had a huge break. But I'm so excited for this in the next few years, actually.
Well, in between, you've of course got the My Lure Box channel that you've run. I had a question for you. How many lures have you reviewed on that channel?
There's close to 200.
Right.
It's been running for over 10 years now. So there's over 350 videos, but about 200 lures.
200. And you thought, why not review my own?
It took a while for me to get there, but now I've got some of my own, and I'm still reviewing everyone else's as well, which I love doing, but I've got my own as well. So,
well, I think you've got a good name of being very unbiased and very honest when it comes to giving feedback on lures, and I think the tackle companies appreciate that.
Yeah, it's been great.
Unless you say the shit, then
they
probably don't like you as much, but hey, you got to call it as you see it, don't you?
Yeah, well, you do your best, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. And hopefully this year, just seeing what these guys are bringing out and hearing that there's more coming. I've got more coming too. It's a really exciting time for barra fishermen.
I remember in the early days, I reckon your first million view YouTube video was some rat paddling across the top. Was that it?
It could be. I will never understand what's going on with YouTube. Or I've got no idea.
Was that right? It was. I saw one of your reviews and go, holy shit, that's had 1 million views. That's when there were only about 1 million people on YouTube.
Yeah,
I think everyone watched
it was a disgrace actually too.
No,
the worst review.
Oh, really?
It got a lot of views. I don't know what.
Doesn't matter. Hey, I don't understand it either, because at the BREAM Grand Final I spent days and days making curated copy. And the video that I took of a shark swimming past on my phone for 20 seconds got 2.5 million views, and on my live streaming got 7,000. So, who knows? Obviously, we don't know what's going on, but if you do enough stuff, you hit the mark.
Yeah.
Take us through your baits. I think the first one you sought out was the paddle glide. This is the bigger bait. Tell us the relevance of this to barramundi, because was this a flathead bait originally you designed it for?
Yeah, so I brought out a lure that was called a soft glide that just had a true tail on it, right? And I wanted something that would actually stimulate a bite. So I wanted a paddling lure, but I still wanted something that would fall level in the water.
Yep.
So I came up with a paddling lure. I had to reverse the tail so it sits up.
Yep.
That keeps it level in the water, and then I've built the componentry to keep that level fall, so it works like a glide bait, but it's got a paddling rolling action. And in the pack it comes with some foam inserts. There's areas in there, so it comes rigged with a 1 ounce and also an unweighted, a massive EWG that allows you to put in the foam inside, and it slows it right down, so you can live scope fish with it, you can throw it over weed, and it's got a super slow fall with that foam.
And it looks just like a bigger Wonga garfish.
That's the idea. When I was after something, I wanted something big. I love fishing big profiles. And that was the first one that I brought to market. After actually this year, it was released after.
And when I'm stalking your socials, a little bit of research, I see a lot of people catching a lot of big flathead on this bait.
Yeah, so there's been flathead, we've pulled big Jew. Actually in the shallows, we've worked out a shallow big Jew bite. We've caught plenty of barra on them, and I'm waiting to see a Murray cod, but I think that might happen at some stage.
It's only a matter of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, with the success of the paddle glide, and you sent me a few of these a while back, the BARRA burners, and I love this. This is like, if you just got a rod and a reel, you can just buy that and you're ready to go, aren't you?
Well, that was the idea. I wanted, with everything that I'm selling, it's all coming rigged and ready the way that I'd like to fish it, and with options so that, like with the paddle glide, like with these BARRA burners, straight out of the pack, they're rigged, the componentry's right, they're balanced, and again, you get the level fall. They come with a 1 ounce, a ½ ounce, and an unweighted, and the foam insert. So that
and some
little
spares,
thing
spare
there,
eyes,
accessories and stuff. But that one in the middle there is like an unweighted lure that you can throw out, and it sinks level and really slow, and that's a lot of fun to fish with.
And that gives you every option, because that thing you can probably wind as fast as you can. They'll eat it.
They won't blow out.
No, they won't. But then that one is probably, well, this one is the one you can wind so slow that you're nearly driving yourself crazy, and they'll eat it.
Yeah, that's right. So even on a stall, it's really exciting fishing. But I'm going to bring these up, see how they go in the BARRA tournaments, try and learn as much as we can while we're up there, and just enjoy ourselves and try and enjoy the whole thing. It's going to be great.
When I saw this, I thought this is a solution for someone that wants to throw a bait that's like a slick rig, but doesn't want to go through all the BS that's involved with boiling it, cooking it, cutting the tail, rigging it, taking the jig head out, and going through that process. It's sort of plug and play.
I've tried to solve for all of the problems that I had doing that. So it's got a jointed tail. You don't have to boil it. It works on a slow roll. You can't blow it out at speed.
Just fish it raw.
Yeah, she's ready to go. And the other thing is too, on the front of the pack, every pack of these lures, I've started a project which is called the BARRA project. Every pack I sold, I've put BARRA in this year into Mondurant. For every pack, 1 BARRA goes in. And I don't know which dam it's going to go into this year, but I'm hoping to do a few more.
Do you work with the stocking group guys to do that? So you say, here's a donation. I want one. How much does 450 BARRA cost? That's what you go.
That's right.
So away you go. That's a really awesome initiative, because ABT, similar thing. We've donated a lot of money to stocking groups over the years.
Right.
In fact, we're working with the guys at Massa now. I think we're making their badges for this year for their tournament they're having in March. So those guys do fantastic work. I know the Massa guys at Mondurant, they get their SIT money, but they also add to it with all of their own money. So the comps they run, they earn thousands of dollars, and they add to that so they can put more and more BARRA in. So if you think there are people nervous about BARRA going for a wall at Mondurant, man, Kevin and the guys up there are the most nervous, I think. All their babies.
Every time a system's coming across, I'm watching going, please don't go over.
It's dodged some good bullets so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've been very lucky.
It's been a ring around Mondurant. Mate, we really appreciate you coming on board for ABT, because Nicole puts together a package that suits anyone from the Wilsons of the world down to the Johnny Costellos of the world, and we all appreciate the contribution, and we love you to be in that melting pot of ideas and techniques. You're supposed to have a lot of fun, mate. If you're not having a lot of fun, I'm going to have a bit of a talking to you.
It's an exciting time, and just from going off what's happened here tonight, the dinner, the pre-dinner, all the banter behind the camera. I'm excited for the event.
You're new to this. Tell what goes on behind the camera here. What goes on at dinner beforehand?
Absolute banter non-stop. And yeah, I was just a passenger along for the
how
ride
many
because the quick wits in here is
And
ridiculous.
how many servings in Nicole's pork belly did you have?
Yeah,
Many?
I'm terrible around food, so I went back for I think 3 servings. So I bumped the average weight up tonight. If you're in on that, what's going on?
You're
there?
doing your bit. No, that's good, mate. It's great to have you a part of the family. Thank you very much for jumping in your car. I think you came further than all of these boys. Maybe you and Dan stayed about the same distance away from us, so we appreciate you taking your time
Anytime.
away from the family. I know you got rid of them for the first time today back at school, or the first time this week.
First day of work for me. I've been trying to do it, but yeah, no, I've been hard at work, and that's all going to come about this year with lots of lures to come.
That's
so,
awesome. So,
yeah.
and if people want to buy these lures, they're available in all the major tackle stores at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to get in to serve the demand for them.
Yep,
which is,
and can buy direct from you as well.
yeah, you can still. I'm still out of my shed at the moment, so
There you go.
still happening. Yeah.
From the corporate headquarters of NLB.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, mate. We'll let's say goodbye there. We're going to drop to an ad and just have a magical staff change. What was that? Did you see that Mercury Avatar ad? I've been really loving my Mercury Avatar on the back of my 4.5 metre bluefin. Tomorrow, Phil Dudgeon's picking it up and fishing the Bajilki Peterson round this weekend, so I better go and polish it up a little bit in the morning, charge those batteries. To be honest, I've had my boat at Yacht Armour for a while. It's been off the water for probably a couple of months. I've really enjoyed taking the little electric boat. You haven't been in the electric boat, have you? I haven't talked you into coming for a late night live scope in the electric boat.
No, I haven't yet, but I've seen plenty of the footage and it hauls ass.
It does. It's the other night with the tide, I was going 17 k's an hour again. If I turned into the tide, I'd only go 13. But no, it's been a great little boat. Really enjoyed my back to basics boating there. Well, back to basics with a live scope still.
Yeah.
So Timmy, firstly, congrats on your 4 BARRA trophies. I think we talked about that episode, so that's all we're going to talk about now. Okay, that's all done. Let's talk about the Bass Series at the moment. Let's talk about the 2025 Rapala Bass Pro Series. It was the 13 fishing series last year, but in case you don't know, 13 fishing and Rapala, same family.
Same.
So you've switched up to your main brand. I think it's fair to say Rapala is your major brand, and that's the naming sponsor for this year for the Bass Series.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, we thought we'd put it under Rapala. We've got a lot of products under the Rapala banner. So obviously the Rapala hard-bodied lures, Crush City, VMC, Suffolk's, 13 Fishing, Williamson, Martini. So we've got a fair stable of products which are all owned by Rapala worldwide.
Yep. So the Bass Pro Series this year, it's going to be a 5-event series. We were not going to Victoria this year. Victoria's had a few years to try and get numbers up, but we just couldn't get there. Even though we will be back to Victoria at some stage in the future, especially with some of the fisheries that we haven't visited yet. We want to go and visit them. But this year it's turned into 2 double headers in a single round. So the first double header is Hunter River, Hawkesbury River. We did the Hunter River for the first time last year or the year before? 2 years ago. 460 fish caught between about 25 boats. So it was a really fishy event, all run on the app. All the live scoreboards worked everywhere because there's coverage everywhere. And we're going back to the Hawkesbury River, but we've learned our lesson. We used to do the Hawkesbury River bass events on a weekend, and the whole river gets shut down, especially in summertime, by ski events. So you could be in a section of the river, and all of a sudden you want to go downstream, you have to wait there half an hour until the ski race finishes. That sucks. Especially if there's no fish in the bit that you're stuck in, all right?
Totally.
So we're doing that Hunter River round on the weekend where there's no ski racing, and we're doing the Hawkesbury event during the week from a place called Dargle Ski Park. And as I said before, the downstream limit for bass, which is just above Spencer, is the upstream limit for bream. So if you want to fish both events, you can, no worries, and the pre-fish, the arenas don't intermingle this year. So that's the first road trip, and that's happening in March, the first road trip, in April. Sorry, just before the close season in the rivers. Glenbourne Dam's the next one, and Timmy, you said that was one that you're going to make sure you get to because it brings back some fond memories.
Yeah, well, it's a road trip, and I like how you've combined, the Glenbourne with the Foster Tari, which was, I think, a staple sort of road trip in the first 6 or 7 years of the tournament. So haven't fished Foster or Tari for over a decade, but I'm sure all the old places have still got fish.
Mate, they'll all be silted up at Foster. You'll be in trouble.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I appreciate nowadays. Remember the early days of AFC and ABT? We'd drive to the Shoalhaven River and it would take us like 7,600 hours to drive there. The Pacific Highway between Brisbane and Sydney now is insanely good.
How 110 the whole way, I think.
Apart from Coffs Harbour, which will be bypassed by 2027.
9, I reckon.
30, yeah, whatever. But before we're 60, that'll be out. And they're building a bypass at the Hexham Bridge as well. So they're the 2 main stopping points.
Well, that could be from Brisbane to Sydney with no lights.
That could be. Or Sydney to Brisbane if you want to get out of Sydney.
And I tell you what, that road is phenomenal because if you drive north of the BARRA Tour, it is crap.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So we sucker you into coming to the BARRA Tour. You know, Paul Suckers from Melbourne, we had 2 teams from Victoria last year. They'd be driving the Hume Highway. Yeah, this is all right. Get on the Pacific Highway. How good's this? They get to Gympie, the Gympie bypass. Didn't even have to go to Gympie. After that, you're stuffed. You're coming head to head against every second B-double coming down with the meth out truckers. You can see the whites of their eyes. The Bruce Highway needs some work, I'm telling you. So anyway, you can get to Glenbourne, you can get to these places now, and Glenbourne's the 1-2 third round of the series. We finish off with a double header, and it's a weekday double header, voted on by over 90% of people that fish the Bass Tour. Said we want weekday tournaments on Somerset and Wivenhoe. Great place to base yourself is the S Caravan Park, which I think is the neatest caravan park we've ever seen. It's beautiful. You wouldn't expect it, but it's very well maintained, got a nice pool there, great facilities, and nestled in between 2 big bass factories.
That's right, and I'm pretty sure Mick Horn probably would have voted for it to have midweek so he could go and fish that instead of coming to work. But
well, wait a sec. Let's talk about Mick Horn, because this year Mick Horn hosted 2 of the biggest bass that I've ever seen. His non-boaters towed him with some giant ones, including the biggest bass we've ever seen in an ABT event.
He's a hell of a guide, isn't he? Hey?
He's a hell of a guide. And what's more, like Crush Shitty has had a knack of that's right.
Oh, that could be the pack there.
That's the plastic. Pete Maisie from Tassie, he came before the event to me. I gave him this little tiny box with a spoon, a plastic, an ice jig and something else in it. And he just he pulled the plastic off the jig, he put one of those Crush Shitties on and caught a 3.8 something kilo bass.
Yeah, but I think Callum Munro had it and then the old man had it before him. Yep. So no, it was good to see. And that's, I suppose, the biggest pleasing thing for us as a company. We've worked on the Crush City for a lot of years. We think we've got some pretty unique, cool plastics that work in Australia, and having Mick out there who developed the heavy hitters with the guy catching the biggest bass in ABT history. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and Mick, I thought you know how to fish him, mate, but obviously you've taken some notes off the nonny still, eh? And it wasn't just, there was another, I can't remember.
The next day,
it was another
3.6 something kilo fish.
It was another proper one too. So Mickey Horn's live well. You got it going on.
Yeah. He gave me a few netting tips for when we were up on the BARRA Tour, so that's good.
The AOY this year had a few people asking me because half of the field is going to Italy, not Italy. Where is it this year? South Africa. South Africa for the World Bass Championships. We've had a look and we've let people for all of the years drop 2 events. So this year we're going to let them drop 2 events as well. So to be your best 3 out of 5. To make the grand final. But don't worry, if you're doing all 5 of them, you can drop your worst 2 events. So again, it'll be a 30-boat grand final. It'll be a 3-day event. The top 15 will make the cut for that last day. That was a really popular this year, both in the BREAM and the Bass. We had observers on all of the boats on the day 3, and of course, we're giving away... this year, it's a slightly smaller boat in the Bass. It'll be like a 4.5 metre tiller with a Mercury on the back and full, I think it's full BLA setup. Humminbird setup, Humminbird Minn Kota. And of course in the BREAM one, the 5.3 metre with the 150 Mercury Racing on the back and a full Garmin setup with live scopes, etc. So, Bass guys, you can drop 2 events, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be excited to make that grand final, which is grand finals at Richmond River, where Dane Price won it with his last cast over Matty Langford. I remember that. I remember the disappointment on Matty Langford's face.
Was it as much as Joey Urquhart? I don't think we brought that up this show.
All I can say is every single event, grand final we've had on the Richmond has had a really disappointed second place person in it.
I'm not sorry, Joey.
I think Joey Urquhart still talks about it so much that it's still hurting him.
Oh, 100%, and that was meant to hurt you, and I'm still not sorry, Joey.
Joey called us today. Joey's given us an update on the trophies. He's got about nearly 60-something trophies, nearly ready for dropping off next week. So thank you very much, Joey, for turning your wooden lure-making talents into ABT trophy talents, mainly to put on Timmy's shelf with his BARRA stuff.
They're pretty good, Dicker.
Timmy, one thing that's happened recently for you guys is the launch of these VMC Grip R jig heads. Tell us all about them.
Yeah, we got them late last year. They're sort of trickling out to shops now. We're doing all the promos and stuff for them. Obviously, with Crush City, being a plastic, we wanted to develop a range of jig heads that would suit them. So basically, we've got all your BREAM, Bass, jacks and stuff covered at the moment with a finesse and a heavy range. And then we'll have some bigger ones coming later this year. But we put a lot of work, actually, in the early days. Dan, who is now at the opposition Wilsons did us a lot of help with the R&D on it, but we finally got them to market. With our Super TPE material, we've got both a lead keeper on it, collar, as well as a wire keeper as well. So we find that holds this Super TPE material on really good. I like to push the plastic on past the lead and the wire and then push that plastic back down onto the wire, because there's nothing that frustrates me more than, having to get the super glue out, put it on, if it's wet, it's a pain in the neck. So, Mickey's fished these all day on the jacks, burning pontoons and things like that, and the plastics have stayed on. So we're really happy with them, we're really confident with them. So we'll see them rocking up into stores now. But also, I think with the prize packs that we're doing for BREAM and Bass, because we haven't got the BARRA ones yet, they'll all have some grippage heads.
And there are some really cool ones here. That little 1/35 of an ounce reminds me of the old ones that they like to fish, some of the gold crabbies and stuff on. Those really light jig heads have always been hard to make.
Yeah, I suppose one technique Mickey found while we developed this is he's got the jerk. So the bigger jerk's obviously on the BARRA tool with the forward-facing sonar, but the little 375 one, we rigged that 1/35 of an ounce slightly back from the head and into it, and with that 1/35 of an ounce, it'll float.
Yep.
So you can actually fish it similar to a bent minnow, where you can skip it right into mangroves, and you give it a few little twitches, she'll dive underwater.
Yep.
And then float back up again. So it's a really fun way to do it. Fish it, especially this time of year when they're chasing prawns and cicadas and stuff like that on surface. But we'll have a lot more information coming out on our socials probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks on them.
There you go. So and look, there's a lot more fun throwing a $3 bait in there as opposed to a $40 bait.
That's correct.
Into the nasty stuff. I know Mick is a very strong advocate of his stuff. When you go fishing with Mick is fishing Rapala and Crust City and your stuff all the time. Even if he's getting a hiding by his non-boater, he's swapping around.
That's good, because I told him to get sacked if he didn't. No, he did. No, he did. But
what do you mean? I thought you did tell him that.
Yeah, no, I did actually. But no, well, I suppose it's Mick started with us, and we started the Crush City project probably a month or two after he started with us. So It was 18 months we worked on it before we came to market with it. So this is his baby. So he's super confident. He's caught some great fish on it. Mel's caught a heap of great fish on it.
Yep.
And I suppose the satisfying thing for us is all the great fish that we see. We've got the Rapala, I'll give it a plug now, the Rapala Trophy Hunters app. So if you look at the Rapala socials, you see it. Plus also the Rapala Rookies app. So any kid gets a
fish on a
Rapala lure. There's 17 species they can get, and then there's the classic catch for the kid as well, so they can catch a toadfish on a lure, and we'll reward them for it. Because for us, it's getting kids off their screens, not playing games. It's getting out there, fishing, enjoying it, and getting the next generation of Rapala users on the water.
When we were young, Mum and Dad used to drop us at like a bridge in northern New South Wales. We would paddle 20 kilometres down the river in a kayak, get shotguns pointed at us by people growing drugs on their property.
I thought they were tomato bushes.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, it's all hi. Move along, young fella. Anyway, and then they'd pick us up at the end of the day. Would you be confident dropping your 15-year-old to do that nowadays?
Oh, no, he probably wouldn't make it the other. He'd see a butterfly and probably not. But it's I remember the rule when we were growing up in northern New South Wales on holidays was be home before it's dark. And we used to always argue that there's still a bit of light in the sky.
Yeah, if that bit of the sky was lighter than the other bit, it's still all right. Yeah, that's all right.
No, we were very lucky.
Very lucky not to get shot, I think. Timmy, thanks for that. Thanks for pivoting a little bit with your naming sponsorship of the Bass series. As we said, all the series they've got great sponsors and great naming sponsors at the moment. We're looking forward to rolling out a great year through ABT. And I think that's all. Anything else you need to add? I think I've covered all the things on my list. I've got a list tonight. I'm organised.
No, just that I think we love being a part of ABT. Obviously, I've fished it from the very start, and now being able to, with Rapala, sponsor back to it. But just for my team who worked so hard over the last few years. When I started Rapala almost 12 years ago, we didn't have a lot of baits that we could use for tournaments that you'd confidently go there and have a chance at winning. Whereas now we've, especially last few years, have released a lot of baits that are competing with people who've been doing it for a long time. So I suppose it's really satisfying from us, and we just hope a lot more people go out there and catch some memorable fish on them.
Well, that's awesome. Let's drop to an ad. We're going to come back with Tommy Wood, but actually, before we do that, let's run over one more time our competition tonight. It's the Guess the Weight of the live talent. Nicole, where's the picture? Bring her up again. There was someone who was only within a couple of kilos of it now. I think no one's hit it right on the nose. Not that we can see.
We're very flattered by some of the guesses.
Flatten. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dan sat on me. No, we're very flattered by some of the guesses, but it's not often I'm standing with 4 other people and then below average in weight.
Well, Nicole, I've stretched Nicole's to the limit. The picture's not going to go up there. But just think about the 4 there. Come on, we got Dan, we got Dicko, got Jono, got Timmy, and you got me.
Yeah.
There we go. There it is.
Yeah.
We got it on there. Guess the weight to the kilo. It's not lighter than 500 kilos, I'm telling you. There's my hint. It's a long way away from it.
Well, the anchor man in the middle is 14-piece Chicken Man Dan, his nickname is. So.
That's right. So anyway, YouTube, Facebook, put your guess there. We're going to come back. We'll go to an ad. We'll catch up with Tommy Wood because we're all wondering what Tommy's going to screw up next. And Tommy has got no filter, so he'll tell us all that information. And we're going to come back to you with the winner of the comp. So we'll see you then. So here he is, freshly thawed out from his first ever Bass Opens tournament as a boater. Tommy Wood, good to talk to you, mate. We're on diametric opposite sides of the world. You are probably around, 20,000 kilometres away from the closest Queensland Barra, mate. What's the go there?
Oh, my toes are starting to thaw out a little bit now, so we're looking good. But yeah, it's been seriously cold over here.
You've sort of had a bit of a baptism of fire, haven't you? You've turned up into America through like the coldest snap they've had in living memory. Give us a little bit of I want to hear about your trip so far, mate. You've tell us what you're living in and what you're traveling in and what your boat is and what you've done to it. We want a story, mate. What's going on?
Yeah, it's been go since we first got here. So I've been lucky enough. Obviously, everyone probably knows now. Like I've got a good mate over here, Kyle, and we've just been talking the whole time. And he's just said, I'll help you out with everything I can. He's obviously lending me the boat, which is unreal. But landing in the States, and he come pick me up from the airport, and like the next day, just straight into it. We were down, getting the car license. He already bought the car for me, and it was here. I just had to pay him. We're getting insurance done, the title, like everything, just getting a phone. We're just smashing out all this stuff. Next day, rigging the boat, getting everything sorted. Bang, 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 on the water, fishing. And then it's just like been 100% go. But it's awesome. Like I'm in a Mercedes Sprinter van. It's like an older one. I think it's 2014. And it's got a bed set up in there. It's got a fridge, battery, and everything like that. And it's been great. Just like pull up to any campsite. You can pull up to Walmart. It's legal to sleep in a Walmart too, which is pretty cool. You don't have power, but it's like a good little place you can just pull up and stay if you're on a big travel. And it's awesome. I can pull up anywhere, cover the windows, go to sleep. I've got all my food in there. It's probably the easiest and the cheapest way to probably tackle this mission. So
awesome, mate.
Yeah.
Tell us about getting your phone sorted out. I heard you had a little bit of a hiccup with your first phone call over there.
Oh, well, I was pretty lucky. I saved a lot of money there because Kyle, he could add a phone to his line and get a free phone. So I got a brand new phone for free. I just got to pay for the bill every month. But like straight away, probably the second day, I called Dad, just straight call. overseas the Australian phone number. And I get off the phone to him after a half an hour call, and it goes, "You've been charged $67 US for an international call." So learn the hard way.
Tommy, I think you learn everything the hard way, don't you?
Oh yeah, yeah. Some things you probably shouldn't, but yeah, I still do.
Tell us about have you got your license yet? You were on the throes of getting it. It's only taken you a month to get your license. What's going on?
Oh, yeah, that was another hiccup as well. Like everything just seems to go wrong with me. I don't know. Well, it's just you got to everything you've got to check to 100% because with the visa I'm on, I have to get a social security denial letter. So social security number is like a tax file number, so everyone's got to have it. And because I can't work, I've got to get a denial letter to get the license. So you spend 3 hours lined up in this little box with 50 other people waiting for your number to get called up. You get called up, get your sheet of paper, and I walked out of there, sweet, got the letter, went to go do my car license, and almost ready to do the driver's test. And then she goes, "Oh, they didn't put your last name on it." And I'm like, "Oh, you're kidding." I'm like, "Surely we can get away with that." And she said, "No, you're gonna have to rebook it."
Go again.
The next available appointment was 2 weeks later, and I was like, far out. So back to the social security place, another letter of denial. And then today, finally did my driver's test, and I was sweating, but we got it.
Nice. And it takes you a few weeks to get used to driving on the other side. It's it feels weird, doesn't it? It's not instinctive anymore driving on the opposite side of the road.
Oh yeah, especially the van too, because you're doing 60 mile an hour on the highway, and there's guys doing 70 or 80 straight past you, hammering, and the whole van catches the wind, and she drives all over the place, and everything's rocking inside. So it's been a steep learning curve with that as well. So,
tell us about the boat you're running over there, and I know Kyle's lent you the boat, so tell us what it is and what you did to it to get it ready for the events.
So it's an old Ranger. It's 2014. It's actually been in a classic before, which is pretty cool. I can't remember what angler it was exactly, but it's been in the classic before, so that's the goal, is to get it back there from where she come from. And we've got it all set up. The boys from Garmin Australia hooked me up with a good deal on some screens, so we've whacked 2 16s on there, a GT56, and got all the charts all downloaded and everything. And Kyle already had a 12 on there with the live scope and an LVS 34, so that was sweet. Saved a few bucks there, and she's all fitted up. So we got 16 on the dash, 16 on the front, and we got a Humminbird on there with 360. I haven't used it too much yet, but I can definitely see it's going to be pretty cool in the future, fishing shell beds and hard spots and stuff like that. But it's pretty well set up. The only thing is the battery system. So if you follow me on socials, you probably would have seen I had a few issues in that last open, and the 36 volt system is only 50 amps, and because it's an older Minn Kota, it's not brushless, and they just chew the power. So I was on speed 8 or 9, just panning left, right, looking for fish out in deep water. And I'm got that 4.2 pounder. I'm like, sweet, that's a good one. Looking at the depth, I was in 35 foot. So I'm like, okay, let's just follow this contour. Bang, got a 3.5 pounder. Sweet. I milked that spot for a bit. Didn't get another bite. Didn't really see any others. So looked on the chart, and it was all highlighted. There was another pocket that looked pretty similar. Pulled up, put the electric down, panned for about 2 minutes, and then just went clonk, and she ran out. So I was like, oh, no, you're kidding. And I still had 3.5 hours, and there was not a breath of wind. So I wouldn't drift at all. The boat's just so heavy, it just sort of almost sits in one spot. So I'd have to run down the back, quickly put the life jacket on, crank it up, put it in gear, rev it a little bit with the electric down, just get it going forward, turn it off, run at the front, put your foot on the electric and try and steer it with your left foot. And you're looking down in between your legs of the screen, and you're trying to line up a cast. And I still caught a few fish like that, which is pretty cool. But I got one late upgrade in the day, which was only a couple of ounces. But it's pretty cool that you can still catch fish without the electric. So
if only you knew someone who was a 12 volt boat electrical specialist, eh? And wouldn't have this problem.
I know. Yeah.
And you said that problem happened because of the it was freezing overnight and it wasn't charging the batteries in the sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah. Well, that's what I assumed at first, and obviously the AGMs on the 12 volt side didn't charge. That's for sure, because they went flat pretty quick, and they haven't gone flat on me yet, so they didn't charge. But Carl was saying, I was speaking to him today, and he said that you need like minimum 100 amps on your 36. He said you'll just smash through it doing that live scope deal. So I think it was a combination of probably didn't charge, plus it was probably too small of a system. But I'm going to pick up some new batteries tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I heard Steve Wofham's coming to the rescue, mate. Is he sending some batteries to you or something?
Yeah, he's sending some green marines over, but it might take a couple of weeks, like up to a month. So I've got like this next event come up at Rayburn. I'm like, what am I going to do? I can't have that happen again. So I found this pair of I can't remember what they're called, but just up at Gunnersville, about an hour up the road. A guy who lives there has got 3 up for sale, and they're $1,000. So gonna just take them for now, and I'll just sell them later once the green marines come. But it's gonna have to do for now. Just hope they don't.
So your whole elite, your whole qualification path is hinging on some guy on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty scary, but yeah.
Mate, you do what you got to do, mate, and it's good to see that you adapted and didn't just throw the hands in the air and go running for a charger. You make do, because that's probably how you used to fish when you were 15 years old. You'd be back trolling in a boat with a hand steer motor and no sounders and just catching fish anyway.
No live scope. Yeah, so that's it. You just gotta, when stuff goes like that, it's so easy just to spin out. But like when you look at it, I still had 3.5 hours, so it's like there's a lot of fish catching time you can do. So you just got to give it your best shot, really.
Now, tell us, if people watching this aren't familiar with the qualification pathway, tell us the results you need to get to the next stage of qualification for the elites. Like, there are 2 sets of Bassmaster Opens, and they have 3 tournaments in each set.
4 tournaments in each division. In each set. So that first tournament was the first one of Division 1.
Yep.
And so Division 1, I think roughly we've got about 160 anglers that have signed up for it, but Division 2 is a full field and it's maxed out at 230 anglers. So the next 3 tournaments I'm doing is Division 2. But the top, so out of your Angler of the Year points, the top 50 out of Division 1 and Division 2 qualify for the EQ series, which is later in the year. So these 8 opens, they finish at the exact same time that the elites finish. So the EQ series is a whole nother series. So we got 100 open anglers that have qualified for the EQs. So they're going to be chucked in there. Plus the bottom 10 guys out of the elite series that just got kicked out, they have now got an straight up invitation to there to try and requalify. Plus any guys who want to make the classic, who haven't made the classic, try and get in there as well and try and win a tournament to qualify. So it's going to be an insane field in there. It's like you got to really perform in those last 3, but
so your first goal is to make top 50 in one of those 2 divisions. And what place did you come in the first one? 53?
53, yeah.
53. So mate, technically, if you did that in every event in the division, you'd make the top 50. So you're on track at the moment.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. Like I think that's my best shot is Division 1, like having way less anglers. So we'll give it a good shot there, and just hopefully cash a check of the next one would be nice.
So what I've learned over the years of watching Carl, and it's the tournaments that you don't expect to do well in are some of the ones that you actually do the best in. You look at them on paper and you think I'm going to go do well in that and that and that, but in real life you do well in other things because you probably weren't thinking that you're going to do well because you just didn't know them, and sometimes I go to those tournaments with a bit of an open mind. You go in there, you go, well, I think I'm going to do junk here. Let's just go fishing and see what happens. You just need to stumble on something that is up your alleyway, and away you go. Tell us about the fishing in your first event. I know we've seen a couple of clips on your social media, but tell us about the technique you're using.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I spent a week on a lake that like walls to Clark's Hill, so it's like the next wall up, and it was called Russell Lake, and it sets up pretty similar. It's a bit smaller. And I was catching them there, it was all shad related stuff. Like they were pushing balls up in like these little pockets, and in that same depth, 30 to 40 foot was where most of the bigger fish were. And there were these big balls of shad. As long as you can find those pockets that had like a flat back end, that's where those fish would be. And catching them, just shaking them in like a 4-inch center jerk shads on like super light spin rods and light leader, light braid, just real finesse sort of stuff. And it was really fun. And come to Clark's Hill, and I was hitting these pockets, and I was catching a lot of like 2-pounders out deep, and I'd work my way up to the back of the pocket, and there'd be a big bushy brush pile, and there'd be all these like golf balls lit up on the top of it, and you cast in there. I think the first one I fished, I cast in, I got a 311. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. Next pocket, hit it, bang, 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 heaps of 2-pounders, get to the brush, 3.5 pounder, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So the next day, I just kept running pockets, and I ended up getting real dialed on these brush piles. There was like a few different types of brush, but there was only one type that was like, it was like a real thick, leafy brush that they would only sit in. They wouldn't sit in like these branchy ones. And we had 2 days off because we had a really big cold weather change, and we had snow come in, everything iced up. Like where I was staying on the lake, the pockets along the bank were all iced up on the top. So I think that my brush piles were in 15 to 20 foot of water, and I think that top level just got too cold.
Yeah.
Pushed them out, and then the guys who won were fishing like super deep, like 30, 40 foot, and catched them at the bottom of ditches and everything. So it's just a big learning curve. Like you got to be ready to change and move. Like that first day, I started on my good area, and I caught like 12 pounds pretty quick. And then I started running back down the lake towards the mouth, and there was a lot of boats, and I keep hitting these pockets and these brush piles, and you cast at them, and they'd like 4 would come out, but they'd just follow about a meter behind it because they knew what was up. They've already been stung. Yeah. They've just been hit. And I was like, oh, maybe I should have stayed up the top. And it's like a 10, 15-minute run to like where I started up the top. And it's a huge run. I didn't really want to go burn gas to go back up. So I'll just try and see if I can get one more bite down here. And it never really happened. But the day two, I was like, I'm just going to
burn the gas. If you burnt the gas, you might have got a check and would have paid for the gas.
Yeah. I know, like it's crazy. Like, and I didn't think the guys were going to catch him that hard. Like everyone I spoke to was saying like 15 pounds is going to get you in the top 10, and I had 12, and I was like, oh, this could be all right. Like I should be like in like 30th or 40th,
yeah,
and then
you needed 26 pound to be leading.
yeah, come in. The guy's like, oh, this guy got 26, and I got 19. I'm like, oh my god.
So what's the lesson you've learned there? Don't listen to anything anyone says.
Yeah. Just go hard, like burn as much gas as you can.
As you have to. Well, you don't let gas costs define your fishing style. You know,
yeah,
go for it.
Yeah, 100%. So bit of a learning curve there, and that day too, I stayed up in that area, and I did pretty well for half a day, so I was pretty happy with that, and didn't lose any fish really, so fished pretty clean, and yeah, pretty happy to get a 53rd. So yeah.
That's awesome, mate. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to have a chat to everyone on ABT Live, mate. You know, everyone loves following you here. You know, it's not been for more than 10 years since Carl went over there, and we love supporting the Aussie underdog, mate. And you think you've had some screw ups now? You're going to have some bigger ones this year, I can tell. We look forward to hearing. I think we'll have to have a segment on thing called Tommy's screw ups or something like that.
Yeah,
there will be situations, won't there?
Oh yeah, not even just the fishing either. It's going to be everything. So, but yeah, thank you everyone for all the messages and the support. It's crazy, and it's so cool to have everyone back at me. It's been unreal. So, hopefully we can make something of this and keep it up. So yeah, thanks everyone.
And where do you put, mate, for the people that aren't following you yet, need to get on board? What are the best socials to follow you on?
Instagram and Facebook. I'm super active on them. Just Tommy Wood, and then on YouTube, I think it's Tommy W Fishing. But if you just look up, like I'll have it all linked on my Instagram and stuff. But yeah, just hit up Tommy Wood and you should see all the updates. And you guys are sharing heaps too. So on ABT, check that out and you'll see it there. So
fantastic, mate. Well, appreciate your time and look forward to catching up maybe after the next event or two, and we'll get another report of how you're still in the race.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Morgo.
And I'll go through the weights so you can add them up yourself. Actually, I'll go through them now. In no particular order, the lightweight of the group was 85 kilos. The second lightest lightweight of the group was 95. Then Timmy said he was below. I think he was right on average at 115. He said he was below average. Don't know. Maybe he was lower than the mean weight, not the median, if you know your stats. And the two heavyweights of the group came in at 140 and 160. So let me just do my maths again. That's 5, 10, 15, 1, 9, 10, 18, 19, 23, 29, plus 2, 3, 4, 5. 595 kilos. Now, I had Full Send Fishing Adventures on YouTube. You guessed 592 kilos, and you were leading for a fair while until we had a 597 kilos come in, only 2 kilos from the mark.
Yep, on YouTube, Evan Matthews.
So, Evan, you have won yourself a Snap Your Doodle box of tackle right there. Get onto our Facebook page and send us a Facebook message to Australian Bass Tournaments, and I will put that in the mail to you, most likely tomorrow. And due to Australia Post, you'll probably get it in about 2 weeks' time, and probably have to pay underpaid postage charges. But it's worth it because there's some good stuff in there. And I'm going to put the right postage on.
Very good.
Even though if your name's Paul Neller and that box gets squeezed out of shape, you'll get hit for an extra postage charges. Sorry, Paul, I had to mention that. We all love Australia Post for this. And a special mention for the weights was to Blake O'Grady, who typed in 635 and then sort of thought better of it and then retracted it. What did he put in after that?
Nothing.
Oh, Blake, you're not going to hurt those guys' feelings, mate. Nothing hurts those guys' feelings except missing out on dinner, I reckon. I'm not one of those guys, I can say that. Great show, I think, tonight, Nicole. I think the more people we get live in studio, the better it is. Like, I'd rather have live than pre-recorded segments, but if you're in Victoria or Alabama, it doesn't work.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
I'll go on location.
You can go on, I'll send you over there. Who's going to push the buttons here in the office then?
That's fine.
You know, you have to scramble at the end to put an end to this thing. I'll have to pad. From the ABT Tournament Director, your feelings about the season upcoming?
I think it's really positive. I think everyone's kind of buzzing. We've had a few months of no tournaments, so I think everyone's just really keen to get stuck back into it. I think it's going to be cool. Head down to Victoria, 50-odd boats. Oh, I love the first event of the year where everyone's just a little bit rusty. And
the starts on the first day of a season are usually trash. Yeah, and they all forget how to use the app. Oh, I don't know how to use it. You used it for 200 catches last year.
Forget where the key tags go. Forget how we start an event.
That's right. Oh, do I have to come to the briefing? Yeah, we know you'll forget, but that's all right.
It's
Nicole
just the first one.
that.
Once we get through the first 18.
Well, it's just the first day of the first one normally.
Yeah. So looking forward to it. Head down to Victoria. It's always beautiful down there this time of year.
Yep. And as we say, we do the event on the app down there. You don't have to worry about any slot limits or anything like that. But remember, all of the data that you put into the app, we compile it all and we give it to the Victorian Fisheries guys, and they use it for monitoring of that gift of a net-free zone that we've got. Now, we do our part to help with the community monitoring that resource. They got last year 1,800 individual captures just from Gippsland Lakes and photos.
So can we crack it this year?
2,000. Can we do it? Put everything in the app. We'll crack it.
It'll keep us busy those days.
Anything else to add, Nicole? And we're going to wrap this up for tonight. Thanks to all the viewers that came on. And if you've got any comments about the show, throw them down below. Anything you want to see, we're all ears at the start of the year. By the middle of the year, we're like, nah, we're not open to ideas. We just want to get through this year and not crash the car and survive for the end of it. In fact, if you look back at our last show last year, it was pretty trash, wasn't it? We were not planned. We were just like, someone end this year for us. But got no magazine to do this year. We've got time to do stuff and to do it properly. Let's see you at the first ABT event. That's after the first ABT event's our next live show, isn't it? So we'll see you after Vicky, after some cool shit's happened.